Hello, Redline Logbook here. And after I made my video of ranking all the Fairytale Guild members from weakest to strongest, someone commented asking if I would do all the Dragon Slayers, and I obliged. So this is my list of all the Dragon Slayers ranked weakest to strongest. So I need to talk about a couple of rules first. One, they asked to do both dead and alive, so that means I'm going to do characters that how strong they were when they were dead and how strong they are when they're alive. So if there might be things that you think are weird, I'll explain in the video why I did it the way I did. And second, this is a massive spoiler for the 100 Years Quest, and I won't be able to ignore it for the rest of this video. So if you don't want to be spoiled for the latest chapters of the 100 Years Quest, at least up to the point of the Darmagon's Labyrinth arc, I recommend you not watch this video until you read those chapters. But here it is. The spoiler is, Loxus is no longer a Dragon Slayer. Yeah, so Loxus ripped out his Dragon Slayer Lacrima, and he did this for symbolic reasons to separate himself from his father completely. If you read the chapter, it makes a lot more sense. But he ripped out the Lacrima. He's no longer a Dragon Slayer, so he will not be ranked as part of the group. But to be nice, I will add him where he would be if he was still a Dragon Slayer. So he'll be like 0.7 or 0.8 or like that. Like he won't be an actual number, but you'll know where he is in the ranking. All right, let's begin. So in 20th place, we got Nabarro. Nabarro was on par with Wendy until she went to Dragon Force, and then he decided to go on into Dragon Force, which 5th generations aren't supposed to do because it causes them to transform into basically wild beasts. Like they transform into dragons, but dragons that have no mind to them. They're just rampaging monsters at that point. And he was wrecking Wendy real good. But then Irene got involved, stripped him of all of his magic. Now she said that he still has magic and it's going to slowly come back to him. It was the only way she could defeat him without killing him, like Wendy wanted. So as a result, he's basically weaker than pretty much any wizard throughout the entire story, because he's bordering on almost having no magic. He's basically where Shelly is at right now, but he's actually worse off than Shelly because she's currently in the process of training after a few months. He's at 0.0. Yeah, he is currently the weakest Dragon Slayer. In 19th place, we have Quantum's Army. These guys are from the Dragon Cry movie. They're 4th generation Dragon Slayers. And before you say they're not canon, they are canon. Read chapter 6 of the 100 Years Quest. They're literally mentioned by Kira. In fact, that's why she refers to herself as a 5th generation Dragon Slayer, because they are the 4th, and the only way that can be is if they're canon. So, yeah, they are canon. In fact, the entire country that exists in the Dragon Cry movie is canon, apparently. So, that's cool. At 18, we have Elsphira. The reason why I have the old man here is because we literally have never seen him fight, and but we have heard that he has killed dragons before, and he himself is a dragon. So I'm going to make the assumption that he's basically on par with the average dragon. Now, the only average dragon we have are the ones that the Dragon Slayers fought pre-time skip, or the guy from Dragon Cry, the dragon from there, which we now know is basically canon. So Natsu kicked its ass pretty easily. And he didn't even use his father's flame. So, while on the other hand, he did use his father's flame to one-shot one of the battle gods at the beginning of the last arc of Fairytale. So, I'm going to assume that the average dragon and the average god are basically on par with each other. That's literally the only logic I can go with him, because once again, he has no combat, a record of any kind. At 17, we have Madmole. Madmole tied with Elfman. He couldn't beat Elfman, Elfman couldn't beat him. So rating his power level is pretty damn easy, actually. He's Elfman level. There you go. At 16, I got Eric. The reason why I had Eric here is because I'm basically going to put him on the same level as basically Juvia. And the reason why I put him here is because pre-time skip, but post the 7-year time skip, he was on par with Urza before she got her second origin. So, and then he also fought against Acnologia in the 7 versus 1 Dragon Slayer fight at the end of the series, which means he definitely got stronger. And so I'm just going to put him proportionally stronger. So I'm basically saying that he's on par with a single origin of Urza, basically where I think Juvia's at. So if Urza used her second origin, she'd basically break his neck in a single blow, but that's not important. Point is that this is roughly where I have him at. I mean, it makes sense, otherwise Acnologia would have just killed him when he slapped him across the face. At 15, I got Rogue. Basically the same reason. At the final war, he got demolished by Bloodman, who was like a mid-tier member of the Spriggan. And he really didn't do anything else for the rest of the war up until the 7v1 Dragon Slayer fight, where he didn't get wrecked. So that's basically That's all I can really say about him, is that he's basically on par with Eric. So I'm putting him slightly above because in a 2v1 against his former master, he and Sting were able to kill him, who had become a demon at that point. That's really all there is to it. Like, he just has slightly better feats, but really he's once again just Juvia level. At 14, I got Kira. Kira was actually able to go pretty far against Lucy. Lucy had to pull out a double star dress, in fact her most powerful double star dress, which is Aquarius and Gemini, just to beat her. So the fact that she can go a high difficulty fight against Lucy proves that she's worth something. At 13, I got Wrath. Wrath had his perfect body with Makarov because his best efficiency is someone who's family, and since all Faircare Guild considered themselves family, and he was a member, Makarov's the perfect guy for Wrath to use all of his magic power. And he then gets one-shotted by Natsu. But Natsu had to use his father's flame, his destruction fist. And unlike the god, Makarov didn't fucking get obliterated. And this is important for Wrath's power because Wrath was the one whose magic was allowing Makarov's body to be useful in any way, because Makarov's body is basically garbage at this point. He's an old crippled man at this point. So surviving a punch from Natsu's destruction fist was all Wrath. Once again, he still got one-shotted, but even so, I gotta respect the fact that he could take the hit, and so that's why he's where he's at. At 12, I got Skeleon. He tied with Mary Jane. Like, she couldn't beat him, and he couldn't beat her. The fight between them ended in a draw, so he's Mary Jane level. That's all you gotta say. Okay, now we're getting into the more powerful members of the Dragon Slayers. At 11, I got Haku. Haku, I consider to be on a low-tier Spriggan level, so Brandish, Jack Up, around that level of power. The reason why I think he's that powerful is because the two top members of the Black Dragon Knights are on par with Gildarts, who's like top Spriggan level, Suzaku, who's equal to Natsu, who's basically high Spriggan level. So the fact that this little kid, would be low spring level makes the most sense to me, because he's still a Black Dragon Knight. He might be the weakest, but he's still one of their elites. At number 10, I got Wendy. Wendy defeated him. That's self-explanatory. She beat Haku, and she did pretty well, decisively, if you ask me. She assumed Irene did it for her, but no. Irene straight up says, no, that was your magic. I only used your magic. That was all you. You did this. So yeah, her training under Irene is really, really getting her somewhere. So yes, I think Wendy is officially low Spriggan level. At number 9, I got Gajiel. The reason why Gajiel is here is because he tied with Bloodman, and Bloodman is basically a mid-tier Spriggan. So the fact that he tied with him makes the most sense. And the thing is, he hasn't really had any major fights since then, other than against God Serena, who crushed him. But like I said, it's still impressive that he even got back up to re-fight with God Serena afterwards. I don't think even Bloodman could have done that, so I think he's actually gotten somewhat stronger, but he's still in that mid-Spriggan level. At number 8, I got Sting. Sting, just like most characters in the final arc, got a massive power-up, because Bloodman kicked his ass. He got crushed by a mid-tier in the Spriggans, but then he ends up winning against a high tier in the Spriggans, because he swallowed his best friend's magic, and he became a light shadow dragon slayer. And with his power-up, he was able to beat Locade, which, once again, is like a high Spriggan level. So he had a massive power boost in the final arc. But once again, he hasn't done anything since then, but still pretty damn impressive. At number 7, I got Natsu and Suzaku tied. Because, let's be honest, they fought 2 times, and they drawed 2 times. Neither of them has actually beaten the other the entire time. Like, there was the one time where he walked past, he cut Natsu and Urza real quick, and then walked away, but then the 2 of them popped back up like nothing happened. But yeah, since then, the 2 have had fights since then, and they keep drawing. That's all there is to it. They're just equal. There's no other way to say it. At number 6, I have Misaki. Misaki has been stated to be on par with Gildarts in power, but at the same time, she's also stated that she's weaker than Kirin, which means there's still a buffer area where it comes to power. And so while I'll put her at a massive godlike levels of power, she, of course, is like the lowest tier of the gods. At 5, I have Kirin. Once again, he's been stated to be on par with Gildarts in power, and he's also been stated to be the strongest member of his guild, excluding his former master and current master, of course. But yeah, he's a powerhouse. At 4, I got God Serena. The reason why I got God Serena here is because also stated to be on par with Gildarts in power. The only difference is he's got 8 different Dragon Slayer magics, and he apparently has mastered all of them. In fact, we learned in the 100 Years Quest, he doesn't just have 8 Dragon Slayer magics. He has the pinnacle of each type of Dragon Slayer magic. The best fire, the best water, the best earth, the best air, the best metal, the best wood. He's like basically on verge of being perfect as a Dragon Slayer. Okay, at 3.5, this is where I would have Loxodon if he was still a Dragon Slayer. So yeah, I told you I'd get back to it. The thing is, again, he's not a Dragon Slayer. But the reason why Loxodon would be here is because he didn't just beat Kieran, he crushed him. It wasn't even a fight, it was a beating. I know Loxodon used a little bit of psychological warfare against Kieran, but still, damn, Loxodon is a beast. Okay, properly at 3rd place, I got George. George is the leader of the Diablo's Guild, well, former leader of the Diablo's Guild. He also is a master of the 4-beast Dragon Slayer magic. If you don't know what that is, what he did is he consumed the 4 dragons his 4 officers consumed. So he has the blue abilities of Misaki, lightnings of Kieran, the cutting abilities of Suzaku, and that weird doll abilities of Haku. He literally has all of them. That's absurd. Now, the thing is that it's not said that he has 4 separate Dragon Slayer magics. It says that he has one called the 4 Beasts. So I guess if you eat all the dragons instead of putting lacrimas into you, whatever Dragon Slayer magic you receive merges into one new unique Dragon Slayer magic. So I don't know what his exact abilities were, if he actually had the lightning or the blue ability or Haku's speed or whatever. I just know is that he basically compounded 4 super powerful dragons magic into one. That's basically who George was. We never got to see him fight. Yeah, in 2nd place, I got Irene. Irene is just busted. She isn't just has Dragon Slayer magic. She isn't just a dragon with overwhelming power. She is also a enchantress who has the ability to basically shape reality however she sees fit. She took an entire continent, shrank it to 1/10 of its size, and rearranged it in however way she saw fit in one instant. They also prevented Ursa from developing in her belly 400 years. They also decided to attach her soul to Wendy to keep herself technically alive. Irene is just, it's insane just what kind of bullshit she can do. And of course, number 1, we have Acnologia. Because Acnologia is the king of dragons. In fact, all the dragon gods have been stated to be on par with Acnologia in power. Which means Acnologia is basically a dragon god, but he started out as a human. And yeah, I don't see any of the Dragon Slayers beating any of the Dragon Gods in a one-on-one fight, but I sure as hell see Acnologia doing it. Acnologia is a fucking monster. In fact, I don't even think the Dragon Gods could beat Acnologia. Maybe Igna could beat him. Yeah, no, I still think Acnologia is basically the pinnacle of power, because let's be honest, the Dragon Gods straight up admitted they hid away on another continent because they just couldn't contend with Acnologia. It was just that dominating on the planet. Acnologia is just the king of everything. There's nothing that stands above him. Okay, that's my list. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, give a thumbs up so you can enjoy more fairy tale and other anime things. Thank you and have a great day.